Have you ever read a story and wondered, where did that writer obtain that information? A viewer watched my video, The Easiest Way to Write a Family Story, and asked, when you showed us how to improve the basic story from one record with additional information from other records, you didn't show us where the information came from. Would you mind explaining that? If you were to read the story outside of a blog post or a video, you would see all the source citations. However, since the video was training in nature, I opted to keep things focused on the principle at hand, which was writing the story. But to transform a story from what's found on one record to something more enjoyable, you might enjoy seeing where I obtained the additional information. This is the enhanced story that began with the death record for Christopher Hoppe. I will mark up this story and tell you where I obtained each piece of information. An unreported injury resulted in vomiting blood. On the death certificate, Christopher's cause of death was listed, and I didn't know what it was or even how to say it. So I looked up the symptoms of the disease and used that instead of the listed cause of death. The remaining details on this slide are from the death certificate. Now, if I wanted to enhance the story, I could research more about his doctor. I could discover the doctor's age and perhaps how long he had practiced medicine. If Christopher had died in a hospital, I could learn the distance between the hospital and his home. I could explore the history of the hospital and perhaps some treatments commonly used for Christopher's illness. How else could you enhance his story? Let me know in the comments. We can only imagine what his wife of 2 years, Margaret Smith, felt. The name of Christopher's wife comes from their marriage certificate. Since the record has their marriage date, I could calculate how long the couple had been married based on the dates on the marriage record and Christopher's death record. One technique I often tell writers is do the math for your readers. Yes, the reader could take time to figure out how long the couple had been married based on the information in your story. But when an author does the math for the reader, it has much more impact. At age 24, Margaret was 17 years younger than her husband. Now, Margaret's age is listed on the marriage record, and so was Christopher. The age difference is another example of doing the math for my audience. The couple had no children. How do I know this? First, I researched the birth and death records for the couple as parents and came up empty. I could have researched land records and probate records to see if any of these indicate the needed to provide for children. They didn't have any of those records. I also researched Margaret to see if she had any children in a future marriage that were likely Christopher's. All currently available evidence says they had no children. The street address came from the death certificate and was backed up by city directories. The location in the 4th Ward of Columbus came from census records before Christopher died. The occupation as painter comes from city directories. Most of the information on this slide came from the death record, except for the information about his father being a German immigrant and that his father died in 1881. The information about Christian came from census records that he was a German immigrant, and Find a Grave in Greenlawn Cemetery records provided the death information. When Christoph was 22, this is another example of do the math. I calculated Christopher's age from the death date of his father on his father's death records and Christopher's age from previous records that provided information about his birth. How did I learn about who was and was not a survivor for Christopher? While an obituary would have been an ideal resource, that is not available to him, unless there's one I haven't uncovered yet. If you find it, let me know. So I had to do fan club research to fully research all of Christopher's siblings and his mother. Thankfully, his family was really small. Unfortunately, his brothers and sisters did not have many children, so that was easy to resolve. Vital records, newspapers, and any other typical genealogical records you would investigate of an individual was applied to the research of Christopher's siblings and nieces and nephews. I hope this is a good follow-up to the previous video about the easiest way to write your ancestor story. If you, like our viewer, have more questions that you want to follow up from previous videos or ask for future videos, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing to this channel. And if you're ready for the next writing tip, check out this video right up there.